Welcome aboard the new J40. This is the racer cruiser from J-Boats that will put your family on the water cruising and competitively racing this summer. I'm Andrew Porter from East Coast Yacht Sales. We're on board the J40. Let's go for a walkthrough tour. This is the cockpit of the J40. As with any boat, this is the heart of the boat. This is where all the action takes place, whether you're out competitively racing or if you've got a table set up and you're cruising with your family. So one thing J-Boats has done with this model is gone to 2 helms. So with the twin helms, for driving, you've got a really nice driving position right here, whether you're standing or sitting. Really simple, ergonomically set up, port and starboard sides. The other thing it does is it opens up the walkway right through the middle. Social space when you're cruising, plenty of room for the afterguard when you're racing, creating that separation that we've come to expect on modern racer cruisers. One thing you'll notice as we're at the back of the boat here is the J40 has a bit of taper, almost tumble home, as we're losing a little bit of the max beam, which is around midships, and we're tightening up a tiny bit towards the transom. That's a little bit of a departure for most modern racers or cruisers these days that are just flying pieces of pizza that carry that beam all the way aft. And J-Boats, sticking to their history and to their ability to draw and build fast boats, we've sort of tapered this back a little bit, so we're a slight bit narrower back here. You know, it does a lot of things for the boat from a performance perspective, but it also leaves plenty of room here for racing and cruising. At the twin helms, we've done 9-inch B&G plotters on both helms here, compass here, and we also have an autopilot. Down here, kind of on the starboard side, which is going to be your main control area, you've got your Volvo shifter with tack and other alarms here, shore power, and your Volvo start control there. This stuff is only on the starboard side, but the helm is duplicated port and starboard, so you can be driving from and navigating on the plotter from either position. So all the way at the back of the boat, we're getting into transom and some access points. 3 lifelines which enclose us and keep us safe back here. From a sail trim and tune perspective, you've got the SailTech hydraulic backstay actuator on the composite backstay. And then from a cruising perspective, you've got this awesome drop-down swim platform. So very simple. This is all manually done. There's no motors, hydraulics, electrics, nothing to brake. And you all of a sudden have a beach, a backyard, a dinghy landing platform, integral swim ladder right there for when you're swimming. You can step up right into the cockpit and you've got a hot and cold shower right here. Really fun cruising amenities, lots of fun at the back of the boat. Under this aft cockpit sole, we have access to our steering gear, our quadrant, our autopilot. Right here is where we would connect an emergency tiller and a little bit of storage back here, but mostly steering and mechanical space. Ergonomics in the cockpit are perfect. They're really classic J-Boats. This is drawing on a lot of the previous J-Boat layouts where a main trimmer is right here on main sheet and traveler is right here. So you can be dumping traveler from the high side and trimming with the double-ended main sheet, trimming from either position. You'll notice that the main sheet is coming through this fair lead and it is run under deck. So we'll see that at the mast where it comes through the boom, off the boom, down to the side deck, goes under the side deck and pops out right here for easy trimming. The primaries are right here. So jib trimmers are primarily going to be here, maybe outboard here, and then moving to the high side while you're racing. It's very familiar from a lot of J-Boat setups and layouts, and everything is right where you would expect it to be. The engineering and the design and the thinking going into this was exactly what we'd expect. Moving to the cabin top, 2 other winches up here. We've got halyards, reef lines, outhaul, got vang here on both sides, so double-sided vang. We've also added in-haulers to this boat, which are just, as you would expect, additional jib trim to get your angle of attack in, and we're just in-hauling that jib as you trim. You'll notice that all of these lines and halyards are also running under deck in a tray coming back from the mast. And to starboard here, you've also got the tack line control. So for flying asymmetrical kites off of the bowsprit, this is your tack control here, and here's your jib car mover. This is port and starboard just for locating that car along the track. You've also got 1 electric winch. So there are options for electric winches. On this one we chose this port side cabin top winch. mostly for the main halyard. So in a cruising setup, you're really raising and lowering the main right here, really simple. And then all your other control lines are still under deck in the tray going forward. You've got 3 B&Gs there for sailing instruments, and then we've got a Nemesis up on the mast, which we can take a closer look at. All really nice kit. B&G is the top of the line right now, particularly for sailboats. It's exactly what we wanted to see on this boat. Really nice. You'll also notice that the Dodger frame is installed here. We did this as an aftermarket on this boat, so that was built here in Rhode Island, and it's a cruising Dodger, which is obviously removable, and for racing, you'd have that off the boat. Leaving the cockpit and moving up the side decks, you'll see how wide it is. So as with anything on a boat, there's a compromise here. When we're downstairs, the cabin does not feel narrow. So adding this wide side deck does not give up much down below. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Double lifelines. We've got a gate, port and starboard. And as we move forward, nice handrail. The windows, which we'll see inside, putting a ton of light down below. Adjustable jib tracks. Here's the in-hauler we were talking about for adjusting your jib sheet lead. The jib cars are also adjustable fore and aft. And here's a look at the double-ended main sheet. So that main sheet is running from the Traveler through the boom, out the boom, and then disappearing below deck right here. And then that's going back to that main trimming station back in the cockpit. Simple rod rigging on this boat. It's discontinuous. We have it set up right now for sort of a medium tune for racing or cruising, and the boat and the rig has been absolutely awesome. Rig is an Axon carbon fiber spar. We have an aluminum boom, both painted black. Really nice kit, really great sailing boat so far. We've also got a Nautos adjustable boom vang. We double-ended that, so we've got vang adjustments both port and starboard back on the cabin top. Coming forward up onto the foredeck, we're showing 3 hatches, one in the head, one in the entry to the forward cabin, and then one in the forward cabin. When you're racing, you might be putting chutes up and down through that hatch, but also tons of light, tons of ventilation. It's gonna allow air to flow straight through the boat, and for whoever's sleeping up there, it's really nice. Great foredeck up here. The non-skid is awesome, so you're safe and secure up here. You've got a integral tow rail. So this tow rail is laminated with the deck mold, so really secure up on deck. And as you move all the way forward, you've got this pulpit at the bow. You've got a Harken furler for your jib, a carbon fiber permanent sprit, and you've got an anchor locker here, which has the Lumar furler in it and chain and rode. You could also store fenders and lines in there. All of this stuff screams good engineering, J-boat design, thoughtful for the end user. So whether you're racing or cruising, all this stuff just works, just how we've always seen on J-boats over the years. That's the deck. Let's check out down below. And this is the J40 interior. It has a lot of feel of what I would expect in a J40, and then tons of innovation and development, and they've moved the ball forward a lot with this interior. Galley to port, nice solid surface countertops, 3 sort of work areas to give yourself counter space, 2-bowl stainless steel underhung sink, a big 12-volt fridge with a little freezer box in there, 2-burner propane stove, more workspace, loads of pantry storage in there, and then as you'll notice all the way around the boat, lots of storage here in the galley, but then all the way around. It gains a lot of space for sucking up your gear in that area. This is the 2-stateroom, 2-head model. So back aft to port is the guest stateroom, a really generous double bunk, lockers, reading light, fan, opening port light, USB charger in this reading light. You've also got a non-opening hull port light here with the privacy or light shade, shelf outboard that can swallow up some gear, personal stuff, clothes. It's a really nice guest cabin. Coming back out, you move to starboard aft where you've got the head. This would be the second head. So if you got this boat as a 3-cabin, 1-head model, this would be another double berth, which would match the port side. On this boat, we're 2 cabins with 2 heads, so we do get this nice second head in here. Spacious freshwater flush toilet, vanity with sink, mirror, exactly what you'd expect. 2 port lights for ventilation. You've got engine room access, and then you've got a really nice access to our machinery space, sail storage, line storage, cleaning products. That's the garage for this boat. Convenient access here and also through the starboard cockpit seat. The interior heartbeat of any boat is the nav station. Here we are. This is the J40 nav station. It's a comfortable desk, comfortable seat. This is what we expect on a modern boat. You've got some chart storage, you've got some knick-knack storage where we've got the soft shackles stored. And then over here, we've got our B&G suite duplicated down here with VHF, wireless remote VHF, and then another one of our displays that can display any of the data. Also have this awesome wireless remote from the B&G Autopilot. Love that piece of gear. And a really nice distribution panel for the boat. So these are push button breakers, and this is all done at the J Composites, and really nice work. I think that's a good segue to talk about the design of this boat and how J Boats has developed the product line and how they've worked with outside help, basically J Composites on a engineering and build side, and then Isabel Roccapo for the interior design. Al Johnstone is the primary designer of the boat, but that collaboration and that partnership with J Composites has led to a lot of the engineering and a lot of the design components as they relate to build. That relationship has developed now, more recently the J45, and now we're on the J40. And having that J Boats and J Composites, the design and the build, that relationship has created this workable space. They're building really good boats that are perfect right off of the floor, and we're really happy with the execution of the boat. And then of course, this is the main saloon. This is hangout central. This is, you could be sleeping a few people in this area, but it is comfortable. This is a 40-foot boat, and look at the space we have. There's 6'5" headroom. There's lots of light through these deadlights. We saw these on deck. These are the non-opening house side deadlights, letting in a ton of light. We've also got 2 on each side of these non-opening hull port lights, which are really nice for adding light, but there's also just something cool about seeing the water go by when you're out sailing, which is awesome. More of the storage lockers, a lot of space, a lot of storage, a lot of gear can be sucked up by this boat. And then of course you've got the salon. So we've got a straight bench over here, which could certainly be a sea berth, or you could put guests out here. And then the L-shaped settee to port. Cocktail or dinner mode, you've got plenty of space for seating around these 2 areas. This is the optional white oak interior, so you're seeing some of the softer tones with the lighter wood. We love this. I think it came out great. Moving forward to the owner's stateroom. This is a luxurious stateroom. There's a lot of floor space as you enter, so it's not just a bunk. There's even a small overhead hatch here that has the blackout screen and the bug screen. So really nice feature, and a hatch in this little entry portion here. There's a matching overhead hatch in the head, which is to port. And then of course there's the big overhead hatch over the bunk. And this is a really spacious double. Gets a little narrow as you can see where your feet are, but I think it's a great compromise. And seating, storage, shelves port and starboard, reading lights with USBs, overhead lights, fan, hanging locker, more storage. You could put 2 people up here with all their gear without any problem. Forward head compartment is a smaller style head, but toilet, sink, vanity, countertop, some nice storage in there as well, including under the counter. And if you were gonna do the 3 stateroom single head version, this would be the only head. It's a wet head, so you do get a shower mount here, so drain with a sump on the floor. But if this was the 3 cabin, 1 head model, this would be it. On this particular boat, we're 2 cabin, 2 head, and we've got that really nice aft head as well. Engine-wise, this boat has a Volvo 50. Access is right here under the stairs. This is a really clean installation. The Volvo 50 on a sail drive, your engine start batteries right there, your fuel filters right there, all of your service components are on the front, and then we've also got side access through the head and through that aft port stateroom, so you can get around the engine pretty well. So here we are in the garage. This is the mechanical compartment. This is aft starboard. The taper of the hull is starting here, so we're getting into slightly narrower sections aft. I've got the hatch open right now, so this is the starboard cockpit seat locker. You can drop gear in here, you can reach in and grab boat hooks and lines and buckets and fenders out of here. But this is also a work area, a technical area. Battery charger is under here, hot water heater under here. I've got the 120 volt shore power system control box with breakers here. It's a great storage area, sort of a workspace, mechanical space, and it's also access to your steering. So as you go aft, we're going to get into the quadrant. We've got both pedestals coming down, and then you've also got the entire autopilot set up right there. Nice open space back there, a little bit of storage if you wanted to, but you can't clog up the works with the steering if you're putting any gear back there. That's the J40. Thanks for coming along for that walkthrough. This is an awesome new offering from J-Boats. We couldn't be more excited to have this boat in Rhode Island. I'm Andrew Porter from East Coast Yacht Sales. My email and phone number are below this video. Please reach out with any questions.